Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and today we have a great, interesting story. Which is actually kind of funny because this one did not last very long, but it just kind of shows when going woke, you're gonna go broke, and this is the reality of everything. And let's see where it takes us.
Opening night of the new Lesbian bar in Portland, Oregon, and here are my revelations and lessons learned. One, we got there at 9 p.m. being all cute and naive, and we were like, oh, we're gonna get there early, like, no big deal. We got there. The line was wrapped around the block. There were literally 200 lesbians and, like, women love women, gender expansive sapphics, like, all in line for this place that had, like, a maximum occupancy of, like, I don't know, 60 people. Maybe in New York, this kind of shit happens, but like in Portland, like, this is not, we do not, no. But my friends are all, we're committed to the experience. So I was like, okay. I got my lime bevy, I got my little spliff, we're making friends. I'm like, this is fine. Like, I'll wait for 2.5 hours to get into this bar, like, whatever. Okay, so everyone wants the tea on the ongoing issues with Doc Marie's, the new lesbian bar that just opened in Portland. And so I'm here to give it to you. I already made a short video about this, but after some more research as well as some helpful comments, thank you, I was able to piece together a little bit more what happened, and I'm going to share it with you all. So the employees of Doc Marie's have made a workers collective, and they have put out several statements on Instagram, the Instagram that this comment is referencing. And so I'm just going to like transmit that information to TikTok. I encourage you all to go check out their Instagram and read it for yourself. But here's what Doc Marie's has been accused of doing. So there are a significant number of concerns this workers collective has made. In a nutshell, just repeated unprofessional and unsafe behavior that has put the physical safety of workers and customers at risk, payroll systems that are not paying people correctly, discrepancies in salaries, dirty water leaking onto the floor, and the owner enabling racist behavior. So the real reason why Doc Marie's is closed is because when the workers brought these concerns to the ownership the next day after opening day, the ownership did not meet the concerns with any sort of plan of action, and the unsatisfactory response caused the managers to quit their jobs immediately. The Workers Collective goes on to assure us that protecting Black and Brown LGBTQ plus folks in building an actively anti-racist space is their top priority, that they are committed to ongoing racial bias training and will continue to educate ourselves in order to actively foster a safe environment while upholding a zero policy towards racism. Again, there's way more details on Instagram, so I encourage everyone to check them out on Instagram and read it for yourself. Personally, I had close friends and community members who I saw openly ask the ownership of Doc Marie's what they were doing to be proactive about the safety, the health and safety of QT BIPOC people in particular, and their questions were met with silence and never addressed. There was also this piece of art on the wall, which is not inherently damning, but kind of sad. And I'm not pointing all of this out to like just be a hater. Like, I, like every other sapphic in Portland, yearn for a lesbian bar that actually meets the community's needs and centers Black and Brown people and centers trans people and centers the health and safety of like disabled folks. I yearn for that. I want that so bad. And so I think I am willing to be critical, and I hope the whole entire community is willing to be critical of this space to make it exactly what we want and need, and not some bullshit white supremacist institution.
Oh, why? Lesbian bar shuts down 1 week after opening because they weren't woke enough. As they say, of course. Doc Marie's is a lesbian bar that opened on July 1st of this year with the hope of bringing more inclusivity to the city of Portland. But just 1 week after their grand opening, they were forced to shut down because of complaints that the bar was not a safe space. Similar to the story I wrote a few weeks ago about the queer-owned cafe and a Fidelity Fair that was shut down by employees for not being woke enough. Doc Marie's was cannibalized by the woke mob, as they all are, because they all eat each other like wild animals. The crowd on opening day was huge. One woman said that the line for entry on the opening night was wrapped around the block, with literally 200 lesbians waiting to get in. But the excitement about a new progressive hangout just dissipated quickly. Within days, Doc Murray's found itself on the receiving end of accusations of not being inclusive enough for our trans people and people of color. Despite mask mandates being lifted in Portland, patrons accused the bar of not implementing enough COVID safety measures. Patrons also claimed that Doc Murray's had culturally appropriative art on the walls. One TikToker who says she attended the grand opening breaks down the accusations against the bar. Employees of the Doc Murray's created an Instagram page to echo these concerns. They claimed that the owners weren't proactive enough in creating a safe space and accused the owners of racism. The employees also demanded that the bar host free opportunities for education for the community. It goes on to say, we, the Murray Equity Workers Collective, are composed of the current employees of Doc Murray's. We only speak for ourselves, not of ownership of the bar, Dunk Brands LLC. This is the only social media account affiliated with the MEWC. What is wrong with me? God. We felt misled about the space being safe and welcoming. Our vision is a queer worker and owned cooperative that is run democratically, provides mutual aid, and hosts free opportunities for education to our community. Whoa. Okay. Well, we don't want that now, do we? No, not this. The other thing, popping up on my screen. That's what I mean. All right. But again, we still don't want this type of stuff either. But you get what I mean. Eventually, the employees demanded the owners relinquish ownership of the bar and hand the business to them. The owners were given a 24-hour deadline to adhere to the ludicrous demands. Yesterday, we presented a list of demands, including owner resignation and relinquishing stake to workers, which as of 7 p.m. on 7/4/22 have not been acknowledged despite being past the agreed-upon 24-hour deadline. Yeah, that's great, because making a deadline for companies is a great way of doing things. It's just amazing. Just 5 days after opening, the bar announced on July 6th that they had to close temporarily in order to address the cries from the woke mob for a safe and exclusive space. We hear you, and we are taking steps to ensure that we can carry out our mission of being a proud, safe, and inclusive space for our community. We will be posting updates on our actions shortly, as well as a timeline for reopening. Thank you. Surrendering the rogue mob doesn't appear to be working out in Doc Murray's favor, as the bar remains closed with no public plan to reopen. A message from our friends at the Catholic Vote. Abortion advocates promise a summer of rage if Roe was overturned. What is this? This is not what... Okay. This is not what it... So, this is what's going on here. Another very woke level type stuff is being released. And obviously, this is the result. Which we're seeing with a lot of people that go with this more woke narrative, right? Or this very far left type of thinking. We're seeing with Netflix, which is obviously not doing well. Then we're seeing with a lot of these companies being more on the woke side, and them also failing to not actually function because nobody wants to deal with their stuff. And then anything else is pertaining to it, that this is always failing. And these people don't seem to realize this is a very, very small minority of people, and the majority of people don't think like this. Majority of people, even I would say the people that are on the LGBTQ side of, that are more normal than usual, or just normal people in general, I would say, don't really want this type of stuff thrown in their face to begin with. That's just the actual reality of things. So when you try to take this very loud and small minority of people and try to cater to them, you're not going to be getting a lot of business because it's a very small minority of people. They don't really support the things that you want. They just want to take the things that you have and try to act like they're innocent or whatever. But that's not really the case because they're not really innocent. They're one of the most vicious and vile people. Now, I'm talking about the very far left here. I'm not talking about, like, other people that don't have these other issues. But the very far left would like to do this type of thing to people, and that's my problem, is that they try to do this, and they try to cater to these very woke people. But what ends up happening is either nobody goes to their stuff and buys their products, and they end up having to close down or shut down or whatever you want to call it, or the mob itself literally cancels them or eats them, and then this is the result of it. So it's not going to go well. I don't think it's going to go for Netflix. I don't think it's going to go well for even some other companies as well that keep on catering to this type of stuff, because people are waking up. And honestly, people are getting tired. And I don't see how they're remotely going to be able to handle with this at all. But we'll see what goes down later down the road, right? So, guys, very, very short video, but kind of hilarious to kind of see this happening. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.